All right. Ish, my apologies, guys. You are not able to hear me. Okay, I hope you are now able to hear me. Let me just check. Okay, I'm sure you guys can hear me now. I didn't notice I was actually muted. Just confirm if you're able to hear me. All right. Apologies on that, guys. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do a quick recap of what I was talking about so that you guys can catch up. Apologies once again. I think I was muted. Okay. Just give me a second. All right, I'm sure you didn't hear me when I was explaining on this part, okay? All right, so I think I'll just do a very quick run through of what I've already talked about since you guys were not able to hear me, all right? So we're looking at mobile app development, right? But then with mobile app development, okay. This is what was causing it. Just All right. I think we can start. Sorry guys for that. I did notice I was muted. Okay, I was getting some echo, so I'm not sure where that is coming from, but I hope that you're able to just hear me. Okay. All right. So we are looking at mobile app development. Okay. Now, like I mentioned, in these sessions, what we are looking at, or rather the technology that we are looking at, is called React Native Expo. Okay, so it's a combination of React Native and Expo. Right. Once again, my name's Samuel Kapansa, aka 𝗵𝗧𝙗 the King. Right. So I'm a software developer, I'm a tech educator, I'm very passionate about empowering individuals with practical life-changing skills. In these sessions, we'll be building real mobile applications with React Native Expo. All right, so that's the combination of React Native and Expo. Right, so we'll dive into what React Native is and what Expo is. Okay, then every Monday we'll be having these sessions. Okay, so every Monday we'll be having these live sessions here. Today I had some technical challenges. I think maybe you also noticed in terms of the sound as well. It was a bit hectic there, but nevertheless, I'm recording these sessions as well. So for those that have not yet joined the community, please do so. The link is in the comments. I'll be able to share the recording with you guys so that you're able to just go through it. If you haven't already, if that is, maybe you want to do a recap, or there's some things that you didn't understand and you'd want to maybe go through them. All right, so just confirm with me. I think let me leave the chats open so that I'm able to see what you guys are commenting. Okay, so that we don't go through that situation again. Okay. All right. Okay, amazing. Thank you, Elijah, for that feedback. Okay, all right, so we can continue. Right, so like I mentioned, we'll be going live every Monday, 8 hours. Okay, so today we're supposed to start at 8 hours, but because of the technical challenges that I had, unfortunately we started a bit late. Okay, in the part where I was muted and you could not hear me. All right, but nevertheless, I think we won't let anything stop us. I think we can still continue with the stream. Right. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we should understand is what is app development, right? So I'm sure you've heard these terms before. You've heard web development, you've heard mobile app development, right? Desktop application development, right? So now, what is mobile app development? Now, when you hear the word development, it just simply means the process, okay, that takes place for us to build a mobile app, right? So mobile app development is the process that we use to develop a mobile application, right? Now the question comes in to say, now what is a mobile application, right? So a mobile application basically is a software that is designed to run on smartphones or tablets, right? You'll notice I'm looking at this direction and not this direction because my camera is here. Okay, and my PC is this side, right? So you notice most of the time I'll be looking at my PC to just simply explain, right, what's on the PowerPoint. Okay, so now this can be built, like for example, if you're building for Android, right, you can use their native languages, which is Android and Android Studio, right? So you build using rather Java, not Android, right? You use Java to build with Android Studio, right? To build for Android platforms. But then if you are building for iOS, for iPhones, right? You use Swift, which is the native language, right? But then there are also apps that are cross-platforms, right? We build them using technologies that help us build cross-platform applications. And in our case, we have React Native. So React Native does allow us to build cross-platform applications, right? Using a single base. So what that means is you are not writing different code with different languages, but you are writing the same code with the same language, and you are building for both platforms, that is iOS and Android, right? No need for you to know two languages, but just one language, and they run on everywhere. Okay. All right. So I hope we are clear on what a mobile application really is and what is mobile app development, right? Now, why are we using React Native and Expo, right? There are a number of reasons. Okay. Now, React Native empowers you to build robust applications using JavaScript and React. If you're coming from a web development background, okay, if you're coming from a web development background, I'm sure you do have an understanding, or you have used React before. React is a library, okay, that was created by Meta, formerly known as Facebook, right? So they created this library that allowed web developers to build front-end web applications, okay, using JavaScript. So you'd use JavaScript inside React to build web applications. Now, on top of React, using JavaScript, you are able to now come up with React Native. So that's now the library that we use to develop these cross-platform mobile applications. Right? So that's what React Native is. It's just a combination or a usage of JavaScript and React to build cross-platform applications for both Android and iOS. Okay. Now, what is Expo? Because we've mentioned to say we're using React Native and Expo. Expo is just a tool, right, for developers that is built on top of React Native. Okay. So the heavy lifting, the configurations, the heavy lifting that you would have to do on your own when developing barely with React Native, your Expo does those things for you, okay? So it makes the work easier for you. Those complex configurations, structures, setups that you need to do is already built. It has already been built on top of React Native, right? That's where Expo comes in, right? So it helps us to build faster, efficiently, right? And in real time, you're able to see the changes in real time. You're able to deploy applications faster. So all these advantages that help us build with React Native and Expo, and that is why we're using it, right? And the other thing about it is, it's not just a technology that is not being used. Like, it's a very big technology that huge companies, huge brands are using, right? For example, we have Uber, Instagram, Walmart, Coinbase, Tesla. All these companies are using React Native to build their applications, to build their platforms, right? So that's one advantage, major advantage of actually using React Native. And it has a huge community, all right? It has a huge community. So anytime you run into issues, challenges, and things like that, it's likely the probability that you'd find a solution is very high, right? Why? Because there are a lot of people out there, right? And developers that have encountered those either be errors, bugs, or whatever it is, right? And you'll be able to easily find solutions out there, right? With the rich community that we have, okay? And the other beauty again is that it has a rich ecosystem, right? You have access to a large library of packages. Now you learn more about what these packages are, why we use them, and things like that. Okay. All right, let's move on. Now, for you to get started, right, you need to set up your environment. Now, when we say environment, we simply mean the platform where you are developing your application. So in our case, we are developing these applications on our computers, on our desktops, on our PCs, right? So we need to set up our computers or our PCs for us to start developing. So the first thing you have is a code editor, right? So a code editor is just a software, a tool that you install on your platform where you write your code, okay? Where you write your code. Now, when writing your code, you can use any text editor, any code editor, right? So for example, if you're using a Windows PC, you have Notepad, right? So Notepad, you can use it to write your code. But there are specific code editors that have been built to help you build such applications. So for example, you have VS Code, Visual Studio Code, right? Visual Studio Code allows us, because it comes with certain configuration, it comes with certain tools, it comes with certain functionalities that helps us build faster, more efficient, right? So it has more advantages than using just merely any text editor, right? So that's one of the beauties of using or the advantages of using such a text editor or a code editor. Then we have node.js. So node.js is the runtime environment, right? Runtime environment for JavaScript. Now, what is a runtime environment, right? You might ask. So with JavaScript, the way it works, okay, or the way it used to work is for a language to run on the machine, right? It needs to have a certain environment. There are certain things that need to allow it to run on the machine, right? If you have a background in programming, you understand that we have things like compilers, interpreters, and all those things, right? If you are coming maybe from a background where you've used languages like C++, C#, and all those things, you've used compilers. So these compilers or interpreters, what they do is they get that human readable code that you've written, right? Interpret it or compile it into a language that the machine understands, okay? Because that's the communication that you now have between you and the machine, right? So the middleman is either the interpreter or the compiler and all that. Now, with JavaScript, there was never that interpreter or compiler that would allow us to run it on the machine, but there were interpreters that would allow JavaScript to run in the browser. That's why JavaScript was used to build web applications, right? But now, with the development of Node.js, you are able to run, okay? You're able to run, let me just check to make sure that this stream is still running. Don't want to have issues, okay? All right, cool. I think we're still on, okay. All right, yeah, so this code, sorry, just give me a second. Okay, I want to open the comments. All right. Okay, so now with the development of Node.js, it allows us to run JavaScript on the machine. All right. Then the other thing that you need is Expo COI. So Expo COI allows us now to build the actual React Native Expo application. So when you run it, it helps us to manage and build our Expo React Native. So you need to install it globally, if you want to use it anywhere on your machine in any folder. Okay. So for us to do that, you have to run the command npm install globally. That's the -G, the flag for global. The G flag is installing it globally on your machine. Okay. Then the other tool that you need is Expo Go application, right? Now, Expo Go app is simply an app that you install on your phone so that you can install the application that you're developing and see the changes in real time, okay?